like taking ideas off of him, and he just made my new password neck romancer == capital D. We back. Made it to Friday. Golly.
You know what? We're now tied. All you got to do is just mess up one more time, and I win the week.
I made it to Friday. Unbelievable. We back. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. All right, listen. I gotta finish this up. It's a short segment here because I pushed this way late in the last one, and that's okay. Lonzo was a Chiefs fan earlier in his life. Correct?
Not as early as you think. Not until Joe Montana went there.
Joe Montana.
And Marcus Allen, by the way.
Okay. So not as long as you think, but let's also recognize Joe Montana went there a long time ago. All right? And that's from a fellow old guy. So you've been a fan since Joe Montana was there. You moved here.
So late 80s.
Yeah.
I believe.
And you moved here when?
I have been here 26 years now.
Okay.
So nearly half my life.
Okay. So you moved here in the late-ish 90s, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you had about a 10-year head start.
Went to probably it's either the second or third training camp for the Panthers in at Wofford. And
so like end of the century, the last one, obviously.
Sure.
So you had about a 10-year head start as a fan of the Chefs before you started covering the Cats. Fair?
Right. And as we pointed out before, if you are covering a team and covering them extensively, just like me with South Carolina Gamecocks, I had a Gamecock show on our sister station for over a decade. You cannot cover a team and not become a fan of that team because you are identified with that team.
You know, you are certainly levying a lot of you can and can'ts for a guy who just told me in the last segment I can and can't.
I've had, and then there was a caveat at the end because you're identified with that team. So you can either say, "Oh no, this is just my job," which I've heard. I'm just taking money. I'm not. But when you're wearing the colors, the people out there they see you as a fan of that team. In my case, I wear the colors for both teams. I'm not going to do that split jersey thing. You know how, that's destroying the jersey. That's ridiculous. And I don't have kids playing for both sides.
For parents,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean,
So, as I've said on the show many times, I got the Ric Flair mentality, right? The Ric Flair mentality of, I want care. I'm a Saints fan. Born blood, bleed black and gold, right? I want the Panthers to do well. Only because I get paid when they do. I am not a Clemson fan. I want them to do well. Why? Because I get paid when they do.
You know what?
I'm not
I
want
don't
them to do well. I get paid.
I don't want Clemson to do well. Okay, I don't. So I'm not, and I'm not going to be that. I am an unbiased journalist because I'm not a journalist. I'm just a dude pushing buttons, and I know what my fandom is for and against. And I don't see why there's a problem. And we try to stay away from politics, but I just want to point something out. Your side has a certain stigma, as does mine. Yours is open-minded and everything, and my side is supposed to be closed-minded and myopic. We are opposite ideologically right now, and it's weird. It's got to be weird for you, especially me pointing it out, because I know you're going to think about it later and go, he's right. I'm not being open-minded because you're not.
I don't think you understand here. I think you have decided that I'm attacking you and I'm not, right?
You said you don't understand. And that's not
an attack.
That's cool.
What I'm saying is I cannot fathom being in a place, right? I am in the same position as you. Longtime NFL fan of the New Orleans Saints, well before I moved here. Moved here, now cover the Carolina Panthers. Get paid to do it.
I will ask you something. Were you a little bit shocked about my Panther knowledge when we were talking? Because there's a couple times I broke some stuff out, and you're like, if I wasn't a fan of the team, I wouldn't know some stuff that I know.
I'm going to finish my thought before I answer that question, respectfully. I am a longtime fan of the New Orleans Saints. The Carolina Panthers, for 20-ish years now, have been a direct divisional rival of mine. My entire life up until 3 years ago has been spent rooting against the Carolina Panthers in pretty much every game that they play. Now I'm here, and I need them to do well so that I get paid. I want remotes. I would love to cover playoff games. I would love to get sent around to different bars and restaurants to do games, to talk to you guys. It's all about the bag, bro. So I would not.
So you're a mercenary.
Yes. Yes. And so are you. That's what I'm saying. I am going to say that while I cannot know the depths of Lonzo's heart, ladies and gentlemen, I can't know what's in that heart of his, big old beaten red heart of his. What I can say is you're a mercenary too, by definition. By definition. You weren't a Panthers fan. You got here. You started working at a station within their market, and you became one. You're a hired gun, right? So maybe you've developed some affinity, maybe a little Stockholm syndrome going on.
All right. So here's the thing. So apparently, and I do know this, that fandom is hereditary for a lot of people. You know, dad and mom were into this, so now I'm into it. They took me to games and stuff. It makes me feel like I'm closer to my family, that I'm still a fan of that. I get all that. I didn't have that, okay? I made my fandom up however I wanted it to be, which is what fandom should be.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying I do not believe. I'm going to change it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to make a statement. I do not believe that you got the same love in your heart for the Panthers as you do the Chiefs. I do not believe it.
Just because you're New Orleans Saints Nepo baby doesn't mean. I had to make sure I said that right.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
you nailed it.
Doesn't mean that my fandom's any less, is all I'm saying.
I don't believe you. Respect. It's probably the first time in a year and a half, 2 years. How long we've been working together now? 2 years plus. That I'm gonna say sincerely, I don't believe you.
And you know what? I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
Because I've been consistent in what I've been saying for decades, including since the beginning of this radio station, because I was there.
It would make my life easier.
And unfortunately, I've had this argument with other people, and I'm not going to say you guys are wrong, because you're not. That's how you were taught that fandom works. I was not taught how fandom works. I had to come about it organically, naturally. You guys were taught, here's how you are a fan. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. And you said, yes, sir. And you went and did that.
First off, I said, yes, ma'am, because mom's the Saints fan. All right. Second off, I still don't believe you. I still don't. It would make my life so much easier if I cracked this mic and went, y'all, I got the same love in my heart for the Panthers as the Saints. But that would be a lie.
I think we all know that I am deceitful, dishonest, and, known to be the person that you can't trust. I mean,
ladies
out of all the people on the Fan Upstate, I'm the guy you go, no, not him. Okay.
Lorenzo Wrightsell.
Yeah. No, I don't want any of that.
All right. Let's put this in the back. Here's what I'll say. 71307. Start your text with fan. All I want you to send me right now is fan followed by your NFL team. One. Just one.
No.
Just one.
If you have more than one team and you are like me, if you're on the Lonzo side, send multiple teams. Don't do it just to mess with Rob. It's because you, like me, also have equal love for two teams. That doesn't make me a polygamist. That's a totally different thing.
Dan, the super fan man, text into the show on the fan text line. He said, Rob, I was a Rams fan. Then the Panther expansion happened. I didn't abandon my first life. I just have a side chick now. Never heard it described that way.
And see, Rob is not disputing that it's okay to have the said
side chick.
He just doesn't believe that my love is equal.
Correct.
That's all.
Listen, you can have a wife and a girlfriend on the side. I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is you can't tell me.
By the way, you really shouldn't do that. That leads to problems.
Some people are into that.
Okay, whatever.
Some people are into that. I ain't here to judge. It's your life. Live your best. I'm saying You're going to have a really hard time convincing me, I was a lifelong so-and-so fan, and then this happened, and now I love them both equally. No, you don't.
But
Every parent has a favorite kid.
No, they don't.
Every parent has a favorite kid.
If they do, they're a bad parent. And as I noted before,
they're a normal parent.
I was not a lifelong fan of anything because I didn't know how to be a fan.
I kind of want to change the question.
It really comes down to, well, Lonzo, you're just doing it wrong.
I kind of want to change the question from what's your favorite NFL team to, if you're a parent, do you have a favorite kid? Because the answer is yes, right? It's absolutely yes. All right, let's see. We've got a text for the Falcons. We've got a text for the Rams. We've got a text for the Dolphins. And we've got a text accusing me of breaking the internet. And also the to fire back, Zoe, for your yes, sir comment. There is a number from Pensacola, Florida that has texted in and said, "Who dat forever?" Rhonda's listening. The matriarch of the Saints fandom.
Which is awesome, by the way. We appreciate her listenership.
Steven said, I'm a Panthers fan now and a Bears fan longer than they have been around. Why can't I have both? I'm not saying you can't have both. Listen to my words.
You cannot love them equally, is what he's saying.
I'm saying if you were a Bears fan first, do you seriously want to tell me you have the same love in your heart for the Panthers as the Bears? If you came up a Bears fan, you're telling me you got the same love for the Cats? Mike texted in, said, Pittsburgh, baby! And we got a text for the Colts now. Texture says, I'm a Raiders fan from Buffalo. I always root for the Raiders over the Bills, but I still like the Bills. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Dark Chosen on the stream is saying, so what happens when they play each other? I've already addressed that because
he said he roots for them equally.
No, I did not. I said if they played in the Super Bowl, I would root for the Panthers to beat the Chiefs because the Panthers have never won the Super Bowl.
Ugh, that's gross.
No, it's not. Gross. It's not. It's just, I guess I love differently than you do.
Guess so. Trey said Bears first love, Panthers from their beginning. I also like the Chiefs when Joe Montana was there. Oh, look at that. You guys got something in common. All right.
I would like to believe we have something in common with all the people listening to the show, and that's why they're listening, because they either they love you and they hate me, or the opposite.
Darth said, sure.
Hey man, your rap name is Dark Chosen. That means that you're on the dark side. What do you know about love? Because it's evil and everything.
James said, as an Eagles/Panthers/Texans fan, this interests me. We'll see. Steven popped up, said lifelong Pats fan, but pull for the Panthers too. But if they go head to head like they did in 38, it's all New England. Yeah, listen, I will pull for the Cats every game, but if it's Saints v Cats in the Super Bowl, I will be kicking that door down, wear a sequined and feather robe, and talking every bit of junk about how trash Charlotte is until the game's over. And then if you win, I'll be like, congratulations, go Panthers, I was a fan the whole time, pay me cha-ching.
If you want to know what fair weather sounds like, you just heard it.
Nope. If you want to know what profitable sounds like, you just heard it. Let's take a break, come back, wrap up hour number 1. I am Rob Brown. He is the great one, Lonzo, and you are listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to the Fan Upstate. Yup. Yeah.
Are you going to quote the Sith Creed now?
Yeah.
Just saw someone's Twitter name is Johnny Carrots. That's a cool name. Unless it's your real name. Then it's still a cool name, I guess.
Already Nick Martinez gets the start for the Padres. The Rockies shut out the Nats 1-0. The Red Sox. Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate. Been thinking about natural biologic therapies to treat your chronic joint pain? Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics.
To me, it is such an easy decision. If you are truly looking to avoid surgery and not treat yourself with band-aids like steroids and pain meds, then really there is no other option. And that's what I love so much about what I get to do.
QC Kinetics offers a variety of restorative natural options to rejuvenate the tissue in your joint.
I'm gonna keep my background playing for a little while until I can
So affirming to see their quality of life change in such a
make some changes, have some ideas.
Joint pain that keeps you from living your best life? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about these exciting restorative and regenerative options.
and you've been looking for an answer, something to avoid surgery. I'm just giving you the answer you've been looking for. QC Kinetics. Kinetics is energy in motion.
You know, the sad part about the fandom thing is people have been trying to convince me for years that I'm wrong. Why does it matter? I think it's more of not being able to fathom thinking that way. So you want to make someone else think your way. And I don't need to think Rob's way or other people's way. I'm gonna believe my way.
I did it my way. A lot of Sinatra in my life today. Thanks, MJF.
No more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea with smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/offer. That's ramp.com/offer.
Don't pick on Rob. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
.com/offer.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Buses, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather.
I wonder if I'd be criticized if I went and got my Upstate Pulse poster and put it behind me. It's cross promotion. Oh man, Steven, you need it. Ain't nothing funny about
People spend
taxes.
their entire lives being Lions fans and have nothing to show for it. Yeah, you did. You had Barry Sanders for a few years before he was like, bleep this, I'm out.
Got awesome.
Oh, and Calvin Johnson for a few years before he said, bleep this, I'm out.
Yeah, but you got an awesome coach now. I mean, you used to have a really good running back who's now in Carolina, but you know.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
from the free CBS Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Make the Fan Upstate a favorite.
Wrap it up. The first hour of the radio broadcast.
Could you move your feet that fast? Could you do the double bass? pedal?
No, I've tried. Drummer in my band can do it. He's great at it. I cannot.
Does that have to do with needing to be ambidextrous, or is it just? I mean, you know.
No, it's just once. Let me phrase it. I can do it as long as it's like a, and that's it. But when these guys say, I got no idea how that works. None. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Rob Brown. He is Lonzo. We are glad to have you along for the ride today. If you'd like to be a part of the radio broadcast, do it now. 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. That is the number to jump on the Gilstrap Family Dealerships.com phone line and talk with us. You can also shoot us a text at 71307. Start your text with FAN. All I'm asking for right now is for you to send me a text to 71307 with the word FAN starting it and then your favorite NFL team. Now, if you have two, my question for you is, do you really love both equally? Like, do you really love both equally? Or are you just trying to convince? As the old phrase goes, who are you trying to convince? You or me? Can you love two teams equally? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you're always going to have a primary team and a backup team. I got three, technically. I'm a Saints diehard. I have an affinity for the Bills. And I have a financial rooting interest in the Panthers.
What does an affinity mean? It means
I like them.
I mean, you're kind of attracted to them, but,
Yeah.
ain't nothing going on.
Yeah.
But, it's just kind of,
The Bills are the hot chick in the bar that you're like, she looks fun. I'd hang out with her. I'm committed, but she looks fun. I'd have a drink with her. I'm not going to go home with her.
well,
not gonna spend time with her,
because the
but
one
I'd
thing
have a
about
drink with her.
one thing about the Bills, you're not really going anywhere. So, I mean, so
Shots fired. Texture said, I'm a fan of the Houston Oilers. Bring back Warren Moon. Warren Moon, what a reference.
they're bringing their colors back, but it won't be for that team.
Yeah, the throwbacks. Texture said, since I'm a Falcons fan and they suck so bad, I'm more of a fan of whatever team I have money on for that game. Fair. Respect that. You also have a financial rooting interest. Financial rooting interests are a real thing. It's a real thing. I'm not so much a fan of that team as I'm a fan of the team that wins me money.
Yeah, but
Carolina.
I was going to say you're not obligated to put your finances on that team.
Correct. Let's see. A couple of tweet replies. I put up a tweet to get some responses that said, you absolutely can have two favorite NFL teams, but you can't have two NFL teams that you love equally. One will always get more love than the other, true or false. At Noel Nation 21 says that's absolutely true. And at Neil_Green_7, Riley says, quote, absolutely true. I root for another team on the side because it's fun to care about another team in the other conference, but I went to that team's stadium last year and cheered for the Cowboys.
That's awesome, but Twitter doesn't matter anymore. So nothing that you guys said, Rob really recognizes.
Coming up in the next hour of the show on the Rob Brown Show here in the Fan Upstate. I have a NASCAR question.
I was just kidding, by the way.
Maybe. You know what Lonzo told me during the break? Lonzo looked at me and said, bless your heart. Just flip me the bird next time.
No,
Save us all the time.
I legitimately meant that you needed your heart blessing.
We, ladies and gentlemen, are elbow deep in the NASCAR season. We have got Bristol coming up on Sunday. We've got Martinsville the weekend after that. The Bristol race this weekend, of course, on dirt. Two of the most exciting and I think unique races on the entire circuit. And we have had some very good ones this year. There is controversy. There is drama. There's penalties being handed out left and right. We have got NASCAR drivers going on podcast and saying, hell yeah, I intentionally wrecked that guy out of the race and eating 25-point fines for it. And yet, more than the last couple of years, I am seeing and hearing nothing out of the world of NASCAR. And I think I know why. So I'm going to put it out there and see if you NASCAR fans feel the same way that I do. Specifically, those of you that dabble in the sport. Why is no one talking NASCAR this year? I got a theory on that. I'll give it to you in the next hour of the show. We'll take a leaderboard update from the Masters and something that they did yesterday live at Augusta that I've been telling sports to do for a hot minute, and I thought it was the best handful of minutes of coverage of the entire first round of the tournament. We'll talk about that. Clemson's athletic department is looking at making a major change to the Hill that would impact not only its look, but its design as a whole. You guys on board or not? I'll address that when we come back.
I hope they make it more steep.
We'll talk about it coming up next on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Twitter, is it real? Birds aren't real.
That was his point. I think.
Yeah, I know.
Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 for an employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com is already helped.
I put in for 2 for you for next week
Beautiful.
in case you have time.
I will have time.
Okay.
The show Saturday ends at 4, and I'll come up there right after it's over. I may go up Friday, too.
Can't. It's Saturday and Sunday.
I meant Sunday.
Yeah. I think I'm going. I have never been to the cosplay contest, and they're bringing it back this year. They haven't had one. Well, no, I think anyway. They're bringing it back, and I want to go to the cosplay contest. I'm interested to see who wins. Wait a minute, where is that at? I can do shadow puppets. I figure out where's the light at to where I can do shadow puppets. I saw my shadow for a second. Now it's gone. Maybe it was an after image because I moved as fast as a DBZ warrior.
That's what it is.
I am wearing the shirt.
Power level 9,000.
No, I'm wearing God mode shirt. So
Greatness on a different level.
not that kind. I mean, real God
Put
mode.
it up, Lonzo.
No.
Put it up. Greatness on a different level.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
I guess I should do like some other things that I need to like do and like some stuff. But it's like Friday and I like don't want to do anything and I probably will be here all day. Stompers fighting a bear?
Another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, great with grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, an average site wouldn't do. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level with a dramatic increase in competition and a softening.
By the way, I sent you something on Twitter. You probably have already seen it. Have you seen the new Shane Beamer thing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I haven't heard it with
I haven't either, and I can't wait till
Yeah.
probably go to listen to the next break. So Beamer and some of the players recreated the scene from The Office where Michael Scott and the gang go out and race each other with the roadside radar detector. And Michael runs, and then a car goes by him, and he's like, 33, 33. Beamer and the Gamecocks recreated that. I love it.
See, I didn't know where it came from, but
Of the stories you have told me from your childhood, that is one of the more believable ones. So I see what you needs to handle this.
That's just messed up, but yeah.
He was missing fingers on his throwing game.
Yeah, it was on select. We didn't know that. My cousin, who was the singer, a couple times had to ice his midsection because when the ball was hiked, there wasn't some fingers to block the impact of the ball on the midsection. The fingers weren't there to stop the ball from, don't think that we didn't make fun of him about that. And color blue came along quite a bit.
That story's nuts, Lonzo.
Yes, it is.
See the
That story's nuts is one of my favorite lines.
yes. Every time I hear this promo, I remember my cousin walking around like this. As you can imagine, in high school, we kind of have fun with that.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. Just one more time. And on your computer at
I started to watch it, but people were too loud, Josh. So I'm going to wait till, after the show and I can watch it with full sound. Yeah, I heard about that, Steven. Charlie talked about that yesterday on his show. Bear in Spartanburg.
Is that uncommon around here?
No, but I mean it's a rare occurrence for them to come into
Okay.
yeah.
When I worked for the county government down in Okaloosa, once a week I had to send out a countywide text of "There's a bear in this neighborhood. Please don't go there right now," because people would go there.
Yeah,
to
well,
see the bear. I love this. Love this. Steven hits us in the Facebook stream, which you can see at facebook.com/thefanupstate by searching and subscribing to the YouTube page at the Fan Upstate or the Rob Brown Show on Twitch. He said, speaking of bears, we had one in downtown Spartanburg yesterday. And Lonzo was like, yeah, I heard about that. And my question was, is that uncommon here? Right? Is that uncommon here? Because when I worked for the county government of Okaloosa County back down in Florida, about once a week, I had to send out a text on the county alert system that said, there's a black bear wandering around in this neighborhood. Please don't go there and see the bear, because people would always go see the bear as if it wasn't, a bear.
Are there older people in your community that moved there from the north who've never seen a bear before?
Yep.
And
It's Florida. Though
yeah.
half the state is older people who moved there who had never seen a bear
yeah,
before.
so that probably has something to do with it. And they've seen like bears on TV and think, well, that bear is not dangerous. It's a bear, people.
I think people hear that black bears are more afraid of people than people are afraid of it, right? So like, oh, it'll be fine. Just make yourself real big and yell. There's still a bear, dude. If you see a bear, don't go by the bear.
All right, so on
How is this a thing that has to be said?
On Charlie yesterday, he mentioned that bears can run faster than people, and then he looked it up, and a bear can run faster than Usain Bolt, because I always believed that if a bear crashed through the woods where I live, I got a shot at getting to a car or back in the house. Apparently, I don't. So my solution was to go down in the fetal and just or hit it with lawn furniture. Probably got a better shot with the lawn furniture,
I swear. The favorite pastime of Lonzo's childhood community is chucking furniture at each other. The teachers did it. Zoe did it.
So I have experience
What a
with
life.
that. I mean, it might be a defense mechanism. You never know.
All right, we got a lot of stuff to get into. Let's get to this first breaking story out of Clemson, South Carolina yesterday, as the athletics department is reportedly considering changes to the Hill, where the 20 most exciting seconds in college football take place. So there are a couple of changes that they are looking at making to the Hill. Now, before the panic-induced hysteria sets in, let me go ahead and tell you, they are not removing the Hill. They are not putting bleachers over the Hill.
Okay, because I'd like to know how they could remove the Hill. I mean, I guess
Well, they could take it out and put another section
set
of
of
bleachers.
Bleachers, yeah.
But they're not doing that. The concept that has been presented for the Hill is to make it a little more fan friendly, right? Students can go stand on the hill for free, but the hill is, depending on where you stand on it, anywhere from a 30 to 40 degree incline.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's still fairly steep.
It's
if you
steep.
stand it, and yes, I've been up there before. So yeah, I just like no.
I got to walk the hill. It's steep to the point that I said, I don't understand how people could stand on this thing for a full football game because it's steep.
Yeah, I looked at it and said, "Nah, I got a bad knee.
I
I
just
ain't
buy a
doing
ticket.
that." Yeah.
I just buy a ticket and get a seat. So they are considering making a couple of changes to it. The first change and the biggest change is they are considering terracing the hill. So you would have a flat part, and then it would go down a little bit, then a flat part, then it would go down a little bit, then a flat part, then it would go down a little bit, then a flat part, then it would go down a little bit, then a flat part, then it would go down a little bit.
That's better if you want the domino theory to happen, which I do. Terracing would make it more probable because you're slowing speed as you hit the flat part, then you got to speed up again as you hit. This is physics. I mean, so you do all that. I like this
science guy over there.
I like this idea. Hey, I was like number 2 on the statewide physics test in high school.
Your teacher to hit you with a folding chair.
No. But anyway, do you see what I'm saying though?
Yes,
because
I
of
do,
how
but
speed.
Let me ruin the fun for you.
No, don't ruin the fun.
The other part of the changes to the hill would be that they will leave the consistent incline for a runway down the middle of the hill that the team can still run down.
Ooh, that's even better because if you step to the right or the left, you get just slightly off, you're going to hit that. There's going to be nothing there where it flattens out. So it's basically like when wrestlers run down the ramp at a big pay-per-view or something. So I'm good with that too.
So the concept.
I don't want anyone to get hurt. They're not going to get hurt. It's just going to be fun.
The team will have a runway down the middle of the hill that will stay the same, potentially with a decreased incline. So they will level it out just a little bit, but it'll still be the hill. And then on both sides of that runway, the hill would not be a consistent incline. It would be terrace. So flat part down, etc., down to the bottom. And they say that they want to do that for 2 reasons. The first is obviously safety. Right? What you don't want is a bunch of college kids knocking back brewskis and Jack out in the parking lot and then having to stand for 2.5 hours on a 45-degree incline because all it's going to take is one kid at the top to eat it and cause an avalanche of college kids on the way down.
Yeah, you're right because that's happened multiple times, which is why they have to. That was sarcasm.
Oh,
we need to change it because this could happen.
I got to go to YouTube.
We need to change. I'm not aware of it happening. We need to change it because it could happen, not because it has happened. And I can't wait for the Clemson outrage. If I were a fan, I'd be outraged.
The second,
they don't believe in tradition anymore at Clemson, obviously. They're taking your stuff away. You believe that's the best entrance in football? I disagree with you there, but suddenly it's not the same entrance anymore.
The second reason they're doing it is, as was described by Graham Neff, the athletic director at Clemson, is to enhance the fan experience for those fans that are on the hill, because I don't care how good of a shape you are in, standing for 2.5+ hours on a 40-degree incline cannot be comfortable or good for your joints.
The best shape to be in if you're on the hill is round. So if you lose your footing, you're good because you got a natural roll. You have a natural rolling motion.
Skinny roll, fatso.
Skinny people are going to get hurt. You, on the other hand, are going to hit the bottom, jump on your feet, and go, let's do it again.
So all that being said, it's kind of in the same vein as the reported Panthers uniform changes. Everybody got super duper whipped up into a frenzy about it. Oh, they're doing away with the silver. They're changing the blue. No, they're not. It's minor changes. So the hill will still be there. The players will still run down the hill. The part of the hill that the players run down will remain a hill. They're just going to terrace the outsides of the runway, literally a runway, They're going to terrace the outside so that college kids don't fall down, roll down, and take everybody else down. And there are flat patches for them to stand on instead of having to stand on an incline. It's not a massive overhaul or redesign of Death Valley.
I mean, in all seriousness, this has more potential of having people fall. I know I have Glee here, but the terracing definitely can be a problem. If you make the center technically a ramp, that means there's a drop off where the terraces are. And I think you got more potential of people falling by doing this than you do just leaving it alone.
I don't. You're going to have flat parts.
You being the science guy, you've got to see the logic in what I'm talking about.
So the only spot, the spot where the runway hill will meet a flat part of a terrace is also going to have the same incline as the runway.
No, I'm talking about a step off. Because now you've narrowed the field for the players to run down. Where things are terraced, there will be a drop off to the right or to the left. So if one of those big sturdy guys just happens to get a cleat off the right, they're going down. And if one guy goes down, they all going down.
We'll see. I think it's going to be fine. The whole point of this was
I don't think it's going to happen, because I think the rabid Clemson fan base, which is what they are, will go and do a stand-in on the hill, so they cannot do that.
Stand in.
It would be a stand-in, wouldn't it?
I guess.
I guess
it's a hill. You can't do anything else.
Well, I guess you could sit on it, but it could be a sit-in, I suppose.
Sure. So anyway, the point of all this is I was scanning the social last night, and I saw a bunch of people getting very upset.
Chill on the hill
about the changes to the. Oh, that's good. It's almost as good as Ray Dio. That's good. I got on the social last night and I saw all the people upset. Don't change the hill, and I'm like, what are they doing? Because there were folks that were saying that Clemson was going to put bleachers up there. They were going to use it as another section that they could sell tickets to, and that is not the case. That is not what is happening. They're going to terrace the hill. They're going to leave a runway for the players to still be able to run down the hill. Everybody calm down.
And then when the first problem happens, there's that one guy is going to get hit with hats and stuff. What were you thinking? You said this would work. This ain't working. Everybody's falling down.
Clemson Boomhauer.
I didn't leave that go my hill alone because it's a tradition, and it's what we got to do. Them Tigers going to run down that hill. Now they can't run down that hill, and they put an arrow and they got terrace, and we don't terrace here in Clemson.
Texter says, have Jack and Jill approved all these changes?
They are the foremost authority on hills.
Hill running.
Yes, they are.
Texter said a subtle change for a now mediocre team. Shots fired. So anyway, Clemson fans, relax. Nothing's changing to your, but I mean, something is changing to
absolutely something's changing for sure.
By the way, this all still has to be approved and all.
Right. It's not
a long way off.
No way this gets approved. Do you think this will be approved?
Absolutely.
I do not.
Absolutely.
I do not.
And I think they absolutely do, because if nothing else, it safeguards them a little more from lawsuits. That's my guess.
Yeah, because again, this happens all the time. Every year, another lawsuit because someone fell down the hill.
Why are you so animated about this? I'm stunned by this. Why does this have you up in arms so much? You don't even like the school.
No, I don't. But I think they're changing something and making it more dangerous. I keep joking about people falling. I'm legitimately concerned about there being a problem, and I don't think they're thinking it through. If someone like me can think this the way that I do, and correctly, I might add, people with, real education should be able to see that this is a problem. But,
I don't see it like you do.
But I will also say, if no one gets hurt and they do fall, I am going to laugh. And then I'm going to say, see, I told you.
Skrilla said, we won't call it the hill anymore. It's now the terrace.
Or the ramp. I mean, because you said there's a ramp down the middle.
Runway down the middle.
The runway.
The runway.
It's now the runway. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It's literally.
I would prefer it to be the spillway, but that's just me.
Fair enough. All right. Here's what we got coming up in the rest of this hour. I wanted to bring that up just because I am kind of tired of jumping on social and seeing all the people going, Clemson's changing the hell because they want the clicks. Now, when we come back,
they don't sound like that. You need to work on your Pickens accent.
when we come back here in just a minute, another story that I think somebody put up yesterday for attention, but they put some details in there I find curious. An NFL writer says that Frank Reich might be fighting to not pick CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. We'll see what this report says and decide, is this a hot take clickbait, or is there any chance that it's legit? We'll address that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
I like Felway better. Gables.
Got a live for you guys. Stay right there.
Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to
I just
call
came up with
and
it.
savings you
I
qualify
think my
for.
greatest character
Our
concept of all
consumers
time.
are $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with
Scanlan, but a
Scanlan,
necromancer. Scanlan with zombies. That might be my favorite concept of all
Do you
time.
like put on shows with Dancing Dead, or I mean, you know?
I don't know how. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, right? Do the best to disguise the zombies as people who are mute and put on shows. Scanlan with zombies.
By the
That's a
way,
great
Kevin,
idea.
all radio is scripted. We don't have any idea how to do improv. So what we do is like an hour to two before we come on the air, we sit down and we
Like, what's your worst take?
yeah, we script things out, including facial expressions. We work on those because we're going to make sure that it looks legitimate when one of us is surprised or annoyed or something like that. I will say some shows have better writers than others, but you know, when you've been here for a while, like I have, I get preferential treatment with the writers' room. So, you know, but you're right. Yeah, it's all scripted. Everything's scripted. You know why everything's scripted? Because everything's a work, Kevin. Except for my disdain for the Buffalo Bills.
Seeking Foundation can cause you to make quick decisions that could be wrong. Travis Benson, owner of C&D.
Actually, I couldn't stand the Bills before, and then I did a show with a Bills fan for like over a decade, and that intensified it.
Yeah, Bill. Oh, I thought you were going to say it kind of reversed it.
Oh no,
Clearly not.
no, it made it worse. Seven Dust. No, that was me being sarcastic towards Kevin. All we do is make stuff up, except for our fandoms. I'm talking about on the show. Yeah, I can't stand Clemson. They threatened to throw my daughter off the side of a building, off the side of the stadium. I've hated them ever since, and that was my very first interaction with them. Then I worked with Clemson fans in this building forever, and every one of them just about is a punk, man. I don't know what a wagon fan is. I prefer is a red flyer. What kind of wagon is that's the popular ones? Is the red kind? I like those wagons best.
Oh, like was it Radio Flyer?
It's a radio flyer. That's it. Yeah.
That's a reference you're supposed to know, not me.
We couldn't afford them. Okay, but I saw them on TV. They look nice.
I'm having a dilemma right now. It is the official policy of the Rob Brown Show and its host, me, Rob Brown, that when somebody has a ridiculous take, I talk about the take without naming that person. Predominantly because there is an entire culture in sports broadcasting and print journalism that is comprised of people whose only mission is to say things that are either ridiculous or fabricated in order to get attention. And so, to the chagrin of many a talented broadcaster, of which I am not one, but I try my best, people lie sometimes in order to get a tweet that is quoted a bunch of times. People fabricate things in order to get attention, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is know me. Doesn't matter if you know me and you hate me or you know me and you love me. I just need you to know me, right? Which drives me crazy, but hey, what are you going to do? So I'm having...
No, Rob. It's to love, Rob.
It's true. So I'm having a difficult time deciding if I want to name the individual. Let me give you the take, Lonzo. This took place on WFNZ Charlotte. That's the flagship station of the Cats up in Seatown.
I had the pleasure of talking to some of those guys.
Absolutely.
Before.
I know a couple of them personally.
Yeah, I know one of them personally. So, yeah.
This happened on the Wes and Walker show on WFNZ. They had a guy from a relatively well-known and respected outlet. Again, after I give you the take, I'll let you guys decide if you want to know who it's from or not. They invited him on the Wes and Walker show, and they were having a conversation about Carolina's #1 overall draft pick in the 2023 National Football League draft, of which we are now 20 days away. They asked this individual, Lonzo, if there was any chance that CJ Stroud or Bryce Young would not be the #1 overall pick, and that it would be anybody else, including Anthony Richardson, they asked by name. When asked if there was any chance that Anthony Richardson could be the #1 overall draft pick, this individual replied, and I quote, "If it's up to Frank Reich, yes. I think what he's gone on, or what I've been told, is that everybody in the room is really heavily leaning towards CJ Stroud. Stroud did well at the combine. He did well at the pro day. And I'm told that the interviews with CJ Stroud, he's knocked them out of the park. And he's very genuine. He's been very forthright, and he's a likable guy. I'm told that everybody in the building is heavily leaning, if not checked off the box, on CJ Stroud. But I'm told that Frank Reich, if he had his way, would go with Anthony Richardson because of the upside, because of what Anthony Richardson could be 2 or 3 years down the road. It's just a matter of how much of a fight is Frank Reich going to put up in that war room to say, hey, listen, I want Anthony Richardson. I think right now there's probably less than a 20% chance it's Anthony Richardson, and all signs are pointing towards CJ Stroud," end quote. So he says that the war room is heavily in CJ Stroud's camp right now, that the majority of the power players in the Queen City on Mint Street want to see CJ Stroud as the new QB1 of the future for the Carolina Panthers, but that the loudest voice in the room, the guy who is going to have more pull than anybody else, the head coach, Frank Reich, wants Anthony Richardson more. Now, I've told you guys, Anthony Richardson is intriguing to a lot of people because physically speaking, just in terms of what he can do physically, he is the most physically impressive guy in the building. He's big, he's tall, he's strong, he's fast, he's got a cannon for an arm. If Anthony Richardson had Bryce Young's brain, he would be the best quarterback in the draft since Peyton Manning. I don't know who. I wouldn't know who to compare him to. He would be like Lamar Jackson.
Like, you know, the Peyton Manning who like won one game or something his first season? That Peyton Manning?
Correct.
That guy?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
But the Peyton Manning who also went to multiple Super Bowls. So the question here is, do we believe this and are we worried about it? Because Fitterer might want CJ. Tep might want CJ. Mrs. Tep might want CJ. The team might want CJ. Or Bryce, but probably CJ. But if there's one guy in the country who has the ability to overrule all those guys and to make something happen, it's Frank Reich, right? He's probably the only one that can look Fitzy in the grill and go, that ain't my guy. You want me to be the head coach here? You got to let me be the head coach. You got to let me have the guys I tell you were the right guys for me. If it was the other way around, right? If it was the other way around, if Fitterer wanted Anthony Richardson and Reich wanted CJ, we're not having this conversation. Because everybody else wants CJ. If Frank Reich said, I want CJ, the GM gets overruled. But here's where it gets interesting for me. So far, during the course of this offseason, David Tepper has predominantly stayed out of the way, right? Now, he and Nicole have gone to pro days. He and Nicole have gone to the combine. They have been involved, but it has certainly felt like Tepper has, for the most part, stayed out of the way. It has certainly felt like, for the most part, Tepper has let Fitterer and Reich make the calls, make the decisions, decide who they want to ink and who they don't, decide where they want to invest and where they don't. And I think it's been great, right? I have told you guys, and I mean this, I think the Carolina Panthers have had the best off season in the National Football League this year. And there have been some other teams who have had some good ones. But I do believe that the Cats have had the best off season. And I think part of that reason is because David Tepper got the hell out of the way and let his football guys do football things. He's the anti-Jerry Jones this offseason. But if that was to continue, if that was to remain this way, if Tep stays out of the way and keeps letting his football guys make football decisions, is it possible that he does it again, Frank Reich on draft day, with the Panthers on the clock and 45 seconds left to get the slip of paper with a name written on it turned in? Is it possible that Reich walks up to Fitterer and goes, look, you want me to be the HC? You want me to be the guy that turns this whole thing around? You want me to be the guy that makes this work? Then you've got to let me have my guy. You've got to let me have the guy that I know is going to work best in my system. You got to let me have the guy that I know I'm going to be able to coach up. You got to let me have the guy that I know is going to fit in and is going to give us the best odds. And that is Anthony Richardson. Pull the trigger. And if Fitzy stands down and goes, you got it, coach. You're right. It's your team. You need your guys. Is there any chance at all that we end up hearing from Roger Goodell with the first overall pick in the 2023 National Football League draft? The Carolina Panthers select Anthony Richardson, quarterback, University of Florida.
Not going to happen.
You think this is do you think this is fabricated, or do you just think Reich's not going to have the ability to overrule everybody?
See, if I say I believe it's fabricated, then I'm calling this person a liar. I don't believe this person's sources. I just don't. No, you don't trade up to number one to take Anthony Richardson. If you wanted Anthony Richardson, you try to trade up to 3. Because
they did try to trade to 3. We found that out earlier this week. They were on the phone with the Arizona Cardinals. It did not work out. One was the only one left.
To 3 and 1, I thought. I thought they were trying to do both. I don't know. I just, you don't do that for Anthony Richardson. I would lose all faith in Frank Reich if he did this. And I think a lot of Panthers fans would also.
No trust. You don't trust him that he's making the right call.
I don't believe the story.
Okay.
I don't.
So Zoe thinks it's fabricated. Zoe thinks it's made up. Zoe thinks it's for attention. It's to get clicks. Hashtag sources. I don't know. There is a part of me that believes it.
Now, will I be disappointed if they take Bryce Young over CJ Stroud? Yes, because I have fandom involved there. But from what I understand, Bryce Young, even though he's very short, has a very high football acumen that might help to make up for his height problem. But Richardson didn't really win a lot in college. and he didn't go to a very good school, and he's going to he looks good in shorts and stuff, and we've seen that happen before, and then they get to the NFL and they don't. Tepper has done really well in the drafting process. I don't believe he's hands off on this. And I think the Panthers overall throughout history have done a pretty good job at drafting. I've never come away from an NFL draft and went, man, the Panthers did horrible. They've always done well in drafting. There's no way they trade up to number 1 to take Richardson. No way.
The way that they trade up to 1 and take Richardson is that Reich has wanted Richardson all along. They tried to make the move to 3, which would have been, if Richardson's your guy, the smarter move. Go to 3, save some money, save some capital, save some picks, trade with Arizona. We now know that they did do that, right? So my thought here would be that if CJ or Bryce was the dude for the Carolina Panthers, the thought here would be that they would have gone straight to 1. They wouldn't have wasted time on a phone call with Arizona, because for a number of weeks, maybe months now, we have all kind of come to the belief or realization that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are coming off the board 1 and 2. That is not a question. That is a statement. That is not a prediction. That's a spoiler. CJ and Bryce are coming off 1 and 2. Maybe Bryce then CJ, maybe CJ then Bryce. It doesn't matter. Somebody was going to 1, and the Texans were staying at 2 to take a QB. We know that, right? So if the Carolina Panthers made the call to the Arizona Cardinals to try to get to 3, as we now know that they did, that says to me that they would at least settle for Anthony Richardson, right? Like maybe they're crossing their fingers, toes, and all available appendages that the Bears would not find a deal that they like, would stay at 1, would take some help for Justin Fields. And then you go somebody else 1, CJ 2, Bryce 3, or CJ 2, or Bryce 2, CJ 3. But realistically speaking, it has pretty much been determined for a hot minute that Bryce and CJ are going 1 and 2, which means if you tried to trade to 3, you were at the least willing to settle for Anthony Richardson if Anthony Richardson wasn't the number 1 pick on the board. So this is very interesting to me. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and reveal the name of the cat who said this, because we've had enough of a discussion that I feel like even if he's full of crap, he's earned the credit for getting the discussion going. Tony Pauline is from Pro Football Network. He was on WFNZ's Wes and Walker earlier this week where he had this conversation. He said, look, here's the deal. Reich wants Richardson. Everybody else wants CJ. If Reich is able to pull the power move, to go to Tep and go, look, you want me to be the head coach? You want me to turn your franchise around? You have got to let me get my dude. Then that would make sense that Carolina was looking for 3, and when they couldn't get 3, decided to go to 1. Now, let me be abundantly clear here. Lonzo, there ain't a bit of me that would take Anthony Richardson before I took CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, right? But I also would be content, maybe not thrilled. I'd be content if you got Anthony Richardson at 3 when CJ and Bryce were unavailable, right? If you're in a position where CJ or Bryce are available, I will take either one of those guys over AR. But if the move gets made to Arizona, some draft capital stays in the house, both those guys go 1-2, and Anthony Richardson's the only guy on the board, I would be content with that. This is all interesting to me because the Cats made the call to Arizona before Chicago, right? Texter said if they wanted Richardson, they trade with Arizona when their pick comes up that guarantees the pick at a better place plus some picks in return. I agree with you. But like I said, we found out earlier this week that the Panthers did indeed make the push to Arizona for the 3 spot, and it fell through.
But
and that's when the trade to Chicago
How do
happened.
you know that they weren't going for 3 because Chicago wanted too much for the number 1 pick, and 3 was the best possible deal that they thought they could get, and then suddenly Chicago changed their mind on what they wanted, and it made 1 more available?
Well, I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm not saying that's impossible. The only things we know for a fact are on the timeline right now is that Carolina reached out to Arizona. Then at some point later, Fitterer and Ryan Poles got together and started talking. Then at some point, the trade with the Cardinals fell apart. And Poles said, we'll give you number 1, but we want a 2 and we want a player. We want DJ, Derek Brown, or Brian Burns. Fitty went, you're not getting one of the defensive guys. We'll give you DJ and an extra pick, and Poles accepted that. So it is absolutely possible that they went to Arizona, they were working the deal, and then they realized that the Chicago trade was more likely. But just as likely is they went to Arizona, they started the conversation, a trade never materialized, and with Arizona looking to trade at 3, Indy at 4, Houston at 2, and Chicago looking at trading out of 1. All they needed was one other team to decide, you know what, it's worth whatever they want for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, and Carolina's screwed. So they had to do something. And all that was available, in my theory, was number 1. That's the only one that was available. So with all of that said, there is a little part in the back of my brain that is somewhat concerned that we are going to hear with the number 1 overall pick, the Carolina Panthers select Anthony Richardson, quarterback, University of Florida, at number 1 overall, because Frank Reich goes power move, says, Tep, if you want me to work, you got to give me my guy. That's just how this is going to go. You've got to give me my guy. And Tep gives in. What would the reaction be from Panthers fans at that point? I suspect not great. Not great. Texter says, I mean, they make the trade during the draft. Would you think they're going to trade back from 1? Again, I think it's a possibility that Carolina trades back. The problem is you can't trade back any further than 3 if you want a quarterback. Unless you're just committed to Hendon Hooker. Then you can go back to like 20 and maybe still get the guy. I don't think they can trade back at 1 if they want a quarterback. They are locked in now. There's nowhere else to go. Unless Indy wants to trade from 4 up to 1. But there's a lot of talk right now that Indy is making phone calls to San Francisco, that they're making phone calls to Baltimore, that Indy may find their guy pre-draft and come off the board as needing a quarterback, and there's 1 less spot for the Cats to trade back to. So just a couple of thoughts. Yours. If this report is correct, and Frank Reich gets his way and he drafts Anthony Richardson, Lonzo, does it kill all of the goodwill the Panthers have earned during the greatest offseason in the history of the Panthers?
It doesn't make sense. So there would be problems as a fan trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
All right. What's your reaction? The GilstrapFamily.com, GilstrapFamilyDealerships.com phone line's open for you at 844-326-3663. You can text us on the text line 71307. Start your text with fan, or tweet us at the Fan Upstate, at the Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo One Word. Let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap up this hour, and roll on into the final broadcast hour of the week on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Sanders, here's the sports flash on the Fan Upstate. At the Masters on Thursday, joint leader Brooks Koepka said he's not too concerned about the rough weather expected this weekend.
I don't think anything of it. I really don't. I just kind of take it. I know it's so cliche, but I just take it 1 shot at a time. I never look at the pins before. I kind of ask Rick on the tee box where they're at, or if you can see a few greens, I'll look at them as I'm going around just to see what's going on.
Koepka, the world leader with John Rahm. They both shot a 7 under 65 in the first round. Rahm says he's feeling confident.
Obviously, I played really well this year, right? Maybe not the last few tournaments, but I'm feeling confident. Obviously, hopefully I can keep it going. I know this is the first day, and there's a long way to go, and there's still a lot of great players. It's still a long way to go. I'm honestly super happy with what I've done today.
The Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Your joints are talking to you, right? They're saying, hey, something's not right. You didn't listen because you thought the pain would go away in a week or two, but it's not going away.
Football legend Emmitt Smith knows you've got to listen to your body. Never ignore what it's telling you. And when it sends pain signals, don't wait. Get ahead. Stop it in its tracks with a visit to the nation's leader in joint pain relief.
That's QC Kinetics. Yeah, they are way ahead of the curve in this pain treatment business.
QC Kinetics says no to invasive surgeries and harsh drugs. They found a better, natural way to relief, using your body's own healing properties that you were born with. And it takes place same day, right in the office during your appointment. No surgeries and no downtime.
Before that pain goes next level, get ahead of it. Go see QC Kinetics. Stop it in its tracks.
Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to babbel.com
Évidemment.
for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
I'm Bobber, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC part solution company that's grown into an international brand.
Kevin, I would not argue that CJ Stroud is the best option out of the three today. It has never been about what they're going to do this year. It is about the belief that with a year or two of good coaching, Anthony Richardson is the most physically capable of them. He is bigger, taller, faster, stronger than CJ Stroud. The only problem is he is not an excellent quarterback. But if you're Frank Reich and you believe that you truly are a QB whisperer, then you believe you can unlock Anthony Richardson and therefore unlock the best quarterback in the draft. So it's a massive gamble, but it is a super high risk, high reward kind of situation. Skrilla said, what if they shock the world and took Stet Ben first overall? I would need to find a new producer because I think Lonzo's head would physically explode off the top of his neck. That's my guess.
Probably.
Remember that amazing rosé your sister brought over last week? See? It's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price.
Whoa, that's a low price. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
CBS Sports is everywhere. At
Did
home
I
in your
read that
car.
right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait. Unlimited first-year cashback match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Patriots trying to get rid of Macaroni Jones. Wonder if the Patriots will go after Lamar Jackson. I said, what was it, Monday, Tuesday? That Lamar Jackson will be a Patriot on week 1. But we'll see. A couple of thoughts and responses to this conversation before we take a break. Let's see here. On the text line, 71307, start your text with FAN. We'll read them on the air. Text says, last time it was 9-3, this time 1-3. They can if they want Richardson. Right. But the Cardinals are not trading from 3-1, right? You got to have a trade partner to make a trade. The Cardinals aren't going from 3-1. They were looking to trade backwards, right? The only way that would happen is if Arizona sent the 3 to somebody else who jumped up to 3 to get a quarterback, and then you made a trade with them back to 3, right? So a team would trade twice. They would make a trade to get from wherever they are up to 3, and then they would make another trade to get from 3 up to 1. But then you got to think about, all right, what team would do that? What team is that desperate? Because if it's Arizona, they're probably not trading up to 3 and then up to 1. You'd have to trade down to 4, but then you take the risk that you don't get Richardson. If somebody takes him 3rd, you're stuck at 4. So that's not worth the risk to me, even if AR is the guy. And if you end up in a spot where somebody does trade up to 3, or somebody does trade up to 3 and looks to go to 1, are they going to pay the price to come up 2 more spots, right? Is the cumulative trade compensation to get from wherever they are to 3 and then from 3 to 1 the same as it would have been to get from wherever they are straight up to 1 when Chicago was on the board? Nobody else was willing to, that we're aware of. Nobody else was willing to pay the price and make the move up to where Chicago was. Chicago would have dealt with probably anybody. It was Carolina who made the jump, which means there's not a lot of other teams that seem to be chomping at the bit to get up there, right? So if Arizona doesn't find a dance partner and they stay at 3, you don't have a choice but to draft at 1. Don't have a choice. Texture said Arizona needs a quarterback if Kyler can't see over that offensive line. Lonzo loves your jokes.
His little legs move really, really fast.
Like a toddler running away with his mom's cell phone. Greatest scouting report I've ever read.
It was awesome.
Soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh God, that's true. That's unbelievable. Let's see. Texter says, if they want Richardson, they trade with Arizona, and when that pick comes up, it guarantees it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why is Arizona going 3-1? Arizona's not going 3-1. There's no need for Arizona to go 3-1. We know that whoever picks at 1 and 2, it doesn't matter, is taking CJ and Bryce or Bryce and CJ. Arizona doesn't need a quarterback. They got Kyler. He's the dude. Arizona needs an edge rusher. Likely Will Anderson is their pick, right? Jalen Carter's fallen off. Will Anderson's the guy. They can get the best defensive player in the draft without moving. If they move up to 1, they're going to get the same guy that they could get at 3, and it's going to cost them. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Marcus says, we need CJ Stroud, not modern-day Jamarcus Russell. Oof. Purple Drake. Jamarcus Russell. I'm going to make a bit of an argument here. Remember, I grew up an LSU fan because my family's from Louisiana. Jamarcus Russell was a big, intimidating guy. Jamarcus Russell is not. He had the arm. Jamarcus Russell was known for being a good athlete who had a absolute cannon arm. Anthony Richardson's got a very similar arm in a Lamar Jackson style. He's fast, he's big, he's physical, he can get outside. He is better than Jamarcus Russell. But again, the question is, can Frank Reich unlock Anthony Richardson? If he truly believes that he can unlock Anthony Richardson, if he truly believes he can get that full potential out of AR, I can see why this would be his thought. I still don't agree with it, but I can understand it. I can get it. Let's see here. Kevin says, Rob, you are smoking the good stuff. CJ is the best option out of them all. Let me be one more time again abundantly clear. Today, this season, week 1, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. No question. Anthony Richardson is a project, but he's a project that has what feels like limitless upside. Could be a better Lamar Jackson if they can put it the right head on the shoulders. That's why Frank Reich might get that. He might believe that he is that dude. James said, Reich has been saddled with Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan the past few years. He would have a point if this was true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, let's take a break. Come back, get some more thoughts on that in the next hour if you like. Got to talk some Braves baseball because I tried to yesterday and failed. Braves with a walk-off over the San Diego Fathers yesterday. We're going to talk about that. Orlando are see ya. And the boys, 6-1, back at the Battery. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
That's exactly right, Marcus.
All right.
Brooks Koepka is your leader at 10 under through 3. He's 3 under through 8 holes today. Jason Day is 7 under through 5 today. Victor Hovland
Plugged the show yesterday on Charlie's show because he was talking Masters, and he really wants someone from the Live Golf Tour to win, just like I do. So I had to jump in and
So Charlie, I'll happily come on a show.
well, hopefully I won't be able to tell him today, but I probably will. So, I mean, you know. Been waiting for a text or email. I've gotten nothing, so.
They've been together. They still believe that they can get in. We all understand what the situation is. We need a little help, but we have to take care of our business.
Tip-off tonight, 8:30 Eastern Time. I'm Peter Schwartz.
CBS Sports is everywhere, at home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
I'll answer that when I come back, Marcus. I'm working on my metaphor here. You know I answer everything in metaphors. Analogy.
Why you got to work on a metaphor? Why doesn't it just come to you?
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. And Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHINS.com/JOY.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Bixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis.
Yeah, but you've only got an hour to give. So, you know.
It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. And that's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Countdown to Earth Day. Just 15 days to go. To increase gas mileage,
Keep tires inflated at the correct pressure and remove heavy items like golf clubs from your trunk. When we each share one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Granger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Parents, are you tired of helping put your kids' shoes on? They're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping. Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Footwear you can just get your kids to step into and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces.
Parents, if you're lazy and you don't want to teach your kids how to tie their shoes, get slip-ons. It's funny that you dwell on that when it's just this mic. It's not me. This microphone is extra sensitive, but you know, it's fine. I've listened a little bit when other people have been in here when I've been off, and this thing picks up everything. Which is better than it picking up nothing.
Play a mean air guitar, man.
You know, they have competitions. You could be on the Ocho someday.
Dear friend of mine from college, Jason Briscoe, we were at this is a random story that I just remember for no reason. We were at a bar called Howl at the Moon a number of years ago. It was a piano bar, and they had a air guitar competition. Jason played actual guitar, and they put you on the stage one night, played air guitar. They played a song that he actually knew how to play the lead solo to. So we air guitared as if he had a real guitar. He won. They brought him back like a week later for the air guitar finals with a chance to win. And we were so excited about this because we lived in a fraternity at the time. There were 4 of us there, all who had an apartment together. He had a chance to win a Vespa scooter if he won the air guitar finals.
I guess if you're on campus, that's
it would have been a game changer.
Yeah, yeah.
Except for they qualified one more finalist that night, who was a hot chick in a bachelorette party that were all there, and she won our scooter. She beat out a guy who played actual guitar as a hot chick on stage. I was so mad. I wanted that scooter. Wanted that Vespa something fierce.
Would have worked out really well if your guitarist then hooked up with the winner and still got to ride the Vespa, but you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a stacked, locked, and loaded third hour for you on the radio broadcast today. Texture said, hey, Rob Brown, are there any stores around town that sell Swamp Rabbits merch? I want a polo before the game tonight. No, but they do sell them at the game. So just rock you a T-shirt up there and grab you a polo from the store. And more importantly than that, come find me at the game tonight. I will be there because I am the in-arena MC. I'll be the guy on the Jumbotron most of the time.
Just wear you a muscle shirt and rock the guns on your way to the game, and then you can cover that gun show up with a wonderful Swamp Rabbits polo.
Texas said, Rob, I know every physically gifted quarterback can't carry a team to a chip like Cam, but we've seen nothing in a game out of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. I mean, yes, he's looked good in his pro day and at the combine, but other than that, I don't know.
Here's what you've seen. You have seen flashes, independent flashes of ridiculous athleticism. You have seen a rifle for an arm. You have seen legs that are as good as a lot of D1 running backs that are going to get drafted. And you have seen AR run through a lot of tackles that would require a fullback to do so. Now, they are independent flashes. They were sporadic flashes. We have seen games where AR absolutely fell apart, like the Vanderbilt game. We have also seen games where AR looked like a monster. Let me be very clear about why Frank Reich would want Anthony Richardson. Abundantly clear about it. It is because Anthony Richardson is a very high risk, but ridiculously high reward guy if you can get his head right. That's it. AR has a bigger arm than CJ. He has more speed than CJ. He has more strength than CJ. Independently, if we are not ranking on the field play, we are just ranking stat by stat, right? If we're building a Madden character, Anthony Richardson has more independent physical gifts than CJ or Bryce. He just hasn't quarterbacked as well as them. And if you're a guy like Frank Reich, who has a reputation as getting the most out of inferior quarterbacks, I could see where you would be led to believe that unlocking that guy would give you an unlocked quarterback that is physically superior to the rest. But again, if you can't get his head screwed on straight, you have just taken the best offseason maybe in the history of the Carolina Panthers as a franchise and wasted it because you still don't have QB1. You'll be drafting top 10 next year, and you may not have the same opportunity. That is why getting it right is important, and that is why, despite the fact that if Frank Reich believes this, I agree with him, unlocking Anthony Richardson could absolutely be a game changer for a franchise. But I would not be willing to gamble that I could do it with my future, with my franchise.
This is just, it boggles my mind. Why would you move up to number one for a project?
Oh, I got my metaphor.
He's a project.
I agree.
You don't know.
I got my metaphor. Here's my metaphor. You're standing on the stage. It's a game show, right? You're standing on the stage. And the host tells you, Lonzo, that you have just won an arousing game of Plinko, America's favorite game. You have just won, says Drew Carey. Wayne Brady. I like Wayne Brady. Let's make a deal. Wayne Brady.
I'd rather be on with Drew Carey because Ohio connection there.
I'm a big Wayne Brady fan. Is Wayne Brady gonna have to? Okay, so
nothing against Wayne Brady, but you went Drew first, and I'm thinking
that's fair.
Thinking the Drew Carey show. And
we do have the Who's Line connection here.
Yes, we do.
So you're standing with your game show host of choice, Drew, Wayne, Bob Barker.
I was just saying, going to be
Price is Wrong, Bob.
Old school Bob Barker.
Whoever. And Bob Barker says into that ridiculously long microphone, Lonzo, you have won a $10,000 home entertainment system. It's pretty dope. Going to hook up to your console, give you surround sound, lasers, 80-inch TV with high resolution. I mean, the works, man. Top of the line. Or right over there is a brand new Lamborghini Diablo. That's $1 million car. You can do one of two things. You can keep the top of the line entertainment system, which is going to be great. It's going to transform the way that you game and watch movies and television. Or you can play one more game. And if you win that game, you can take home $1 million Lamborghini that either you have the nicest car in the state or you can sell for $1 million. If you go with the entertainment stereo system, the nicest in the state, your gaming console is as ridiculous as it's ever been, you have just drafted CJ Stroud. It is super nice. It is nicer than anything you've ever had before, and you are going to enjoy it for a very long time. If you decide to play the one more game, you know that there is a big chance of you losing the game. It's probably designed for you to lose, but if you win it, you are going to have a prize that is let's forget the car. Behind it, you win the game, you just get a $10 million check.
All right, because that changes it. Because the whole time you're talking, I'm thinking I'm going with the stereo system because of taxes.
Let's say
because you have to pay taxes on those prizes. I know I'm being realistic with your metaphor, but I can't help it.
Nope. So let's say that if you play one more game and you win one more game, you get a straight up cash payment of $10 million after taxes.
But your analogy is flawed because your analogy is saying that money actually exists. Now if it's we don't know if that will be that amount or not. It could be $50, it could be 10 million, because that's a more apt analogy, because you can't look at Richardson and go, yeah, this guy is going to be this, because you can't. You absolutely cannot. And you keep talking about how he needs to be unlocked. That means there's something wrong with his state of play right now, and you've got to find a way to get him to reach the level, the potential that you think he has. That's
the game. You got to play one more game.
Again, is a project. You don't trade up to number one for a project. You trade up to number one for someone who you believe is the most complete player up there.
I'm not disagreeing with
and that's
that.
not Richardson.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying the game has to be played.
But it doesn't have to be played. You traded up to number one, you should go get the best player that you can get. You don't go up and go, I'm going to get this guy because he might be good in 3 years. Frank Reich won't be there in 3 years if that's what he's doing.
That's a fair gamble. Again, if this is truly Reich doing this, and this is an accurate report, Frank Reich is playing with fire. I'm not disagreeing. That's why I've labeled it an insanely high risk, but potentially, I'll say potentially, I'm happy to do that, potentially insanely high reward play as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Texter said, Richardson is garbage. Do not draft Richardson. Texter said, as a Saints fan, hey, what's up? Who dat? As a Saints fan, I am praying the Panthers take Anthony Richardson. As an LSU fan, J-Rock was a much better college quarterback than AR. ROTFLMAO. I am not disagreeing with that at all. Jamarcus
Russell. A lot of
Russell,
letters in there. It took me a second to process it.
Did you work through it?
No, I got
You got through
there.
it?
I got there.
On today's episode of Rob Teaches Lonzo Internet Things, I agree with you. Jamarcus Russell was a significantly better quarterback in college than Anthony Richardson. Nobody's making that argument. The only argument I've made, and by the way, let me once again say, crystal clear as I can make it, I do not want the Carolina Panthers to draft anybody but CJ or Bryce. One of the two. I'm saying if this report is true and Frank Reich does draft somebody that's not CJ or Bryce, I would understand it. Would not agree with it, but would understand it. There's a big difference there. Big difference there. Texter says, Lonzo is an anime guy. Nice. Death Note and Bleach at 1A and 1B. Lonzo's rocking the DBZ shirt right now, as a matter of fact. So anyway, there's some thoughts on the quarterbacks. That's where it sits right now. That's where we're at right now. What are your thoughts? The overwhelming majority, you guys, sound like if Frank Reich got his alleged way and made the call to get AR, that all the goodwill built up over the years would go away. True or false, ladies and gentlemen? How do we feel about it? All right. The Gilstrap Family Dealerships.com phone line's open for you at 844-326-3663, 844-326-3663. The text line is there as well at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air, FAN, F-A-N. Brooks Koepka through 11. He is 10 under in sole possession of first place. Jason Day is through 7 and is barnstorming right now. He's 7 under. So is Victor Hovland. He goes off at 12:54. John Rahm, 7 under. He goes off at 118. Colin Morikawa, Cameron Young, both 5 under. Morikawa's on 5. Cam goes off at 118. Gary Woodland is 4 under. So is Sam Bennett, the amateur, and Sam Burns at 4 under. Shane Lowry, Xander Schauffele, Adam Scott, all at 4 under. Those last 3 have yet to tee off. They are working their way up there right now. Scotty Scheffler, Justin Rose, Tony Finau, all at 3 under, all on the course right now. Scheffler through 4, Rose 6, Finau 3. DJ, Dustin Johnson, 2 under on 6. Ryan Fox, 2 under on 8. Joaquin Niemann is 2 under on 7. And Matt Fitzpatrick is 2 under on 5. That's the top of your leaderboard at Augusta National right this very second. When we come back here in just a moment, got a couple of stories I want to burn through real quick. The Atlanta Braves, first home game last night, and boy howdy, did they decide to spike the adrenaline just a little bit. Orlando Arcia with a walk-off single last night to move the Bravos to 6-1. We'll talk about them. The chairman at Augusta National spoke out about exactly why Greg Norman was not invited. And it is completely unsurprising, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Plus, a couple of things from the Masters yesterday off the golf course that I found very interesting. We'll get into all of that coming up next on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
It's the only way we can have rules and regulations on NIL and the transfer portal because the NCAA is too scared of another lawsuit. What do you guys think? I'm Mark Ryan.
Offsides with Mark Ryan this afternoon, 3 to 7 on The Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Someone just tweeted, it's amazing where you find yourself if you simply have a key fob badge on your waist.
Do what?
It's amazing where you find yourself if you simply have a key fob badge on your waist.
A clipboard and a headset and a key fob will get you anywhere.
No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea. With smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/offer. That's ramp.com/offer to get $250 for signing up.
Which is originally how we had it set up, Stephen. It's the inception angle.
Agents of Inclusion, brought to you by Special Olympics, Odyssey, and JR Sport Reproductions. Every Wednesday, we'll be speaking with a different Special Olympics athlete to share their stories of perseverance, accomplishment, and path towards inclusion. We don't want you to just listen. We want you to become an active agent of inclusion as well.
Wow.
Special Olympics, Agents of Inclusion, find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sponsored by Great Southern Homes.
Today is the day to visit a Great Southern Homes.
Talked about it yesterday. I'm actually working on a spinny logo for the TV.
Hey, look at this. Yeah. So now I don't know. Should I ask if he's coming in or not? Because in the end, it just I still need to know.
I got nothing. I'm just glad I'm not a manager sometimes. Most times.
I'd step down, but they won't let me. No one's willing to take the pay cut.
All right, let's run through a handful of stories as we rapidly approach the end of the Friday edition and the week here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. A couple of quick baseball stories for you. The Oakland Athletics are bad at baseball, partially because they don't pay anybody. The entire Oakland Athletics payroll is just a tick over $54 million. There are multiple players in the league who make more money as an individual than the entire Oakland A's roster. There are outfield units in Major League Baseball that make more than the entire Oakland Athletics roster. Their ownership number hates success. Kind of in the way that the owner from Major League did, right? In fact, I would even argue it's the same story. The ownership wants a new stadium. And there's part of me that understands. You may or may not remember, we talked about this story on the air last year. Cody and I had quite the laugh on Bet for the Cycle, the nation's best baseball gambling show in existence, which starts up April 15th, Saturdays from noon to 4 on the BetQL network. So, last year, Lonzo, there was a problem in the press box, the Oakland Coliseum where the A's play. That problem was that there was an infestation of possums and raccoons in the press box. Media members were refusing to work out of it because of, the woodland creatures that had taken up residence there. There are busted sewer pipes because this stadium is 1,000 years old. The ownership group wants a new stadium. And of all Major League Baseball teams, they might be the one that needs it the most. However, Oakland itself is not giving in to their demands to finance the entire stadium for the most part. So the A's are basically refusing to field a competitive team. How bad is it? Well, on Tuesday, the Oakland A's played a home game. In fact, they won. They beat a pretty good Cleveland Guardians team on a walk-off hit. Hey, it's baseball. Even the worst teams are going to win 20, 25 games. The A's won a game, Lonzo, in front of a staggering crowd of 3,407 people. Now, To put that into comparison, Major League Baseball compiles attendance numbers for all of their major league teams and all of their minor league teams, including the AAA teams. The Oakland A's had 11 AAA teams with higher attendance than them on Tuesday. The Oakland A's saw 2 teams that had triple the attendance that their professional Major League Ball club did. The Oakland A's also had one more team that drew 200 fewer than them. They were almost a dozen minor league teams that beat the A's in attendance on teams. 4 AAA teams had more than twice as many fans as the Athletics. 2 of them had triple. The opening day payroll of the A's, $56.8 million, the lowest in MLB. Part of that reason, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, both Braves now, both sent away. They brought in outfielder Kristen Pache. Remember, he was a big-time Braves prospect for a while. Got shipped out as the Braves continued to grow their roster. He ends up with Oakland. As soon as he gets there, they sent him away to the Phillies back in March. The Oakland Athletics are actively trying to suck. There should be, listen, I'm all about the concept that businesses should be allowed to, for the most part, with some exceptions, run the way that they want to run, and there will be consequences for it. The problem is the A's are still going to get their cut of the television revenue from Major League Baseball, which means they can continue to operate the way that they want to operate, whether they have 3 fans or 3,000 or 300,000 in their building. At some point, baseball's got to, at some point, most leagues have got to start growing stones, stepping in, and removing bad ownership. Got to. If they can't move the team and they can't get a new stadium and they're going to take it out on the fans like this, that's crap, man. That's crap. Could you imagine your team being operated like this? It's insulting. Last night, the Atlanta Braves get a big walk-off win, 7-6 over a very good San Diego Padres team. Bottom of the ninth, Matt Olson on second. Ronnie's out there. Orlando Arcia steps to the dish and shoots one out to center. He went 3 for 4, hit his second home run of the year, had 2 RBIs, including a walk-off ribby to call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, the Braves can mash. They can hit the ball. Spencer Strider was very good, but the Braves are winning via offense right now, which we have told you many, many times and time again. Offense gets you to a World Series. Pitching wins it, but offense gets you there. And the Braves have an offense. I knew that in win number 3 of a 3-game sweep over the NL Central's best team, the St. Louis Cardinals. And I knew the Braves were going to be good when the Cardinals trotted out an ace in the bottom of the 3rd. In the bottom of the 6th. No, it was the bottom of the 3rd. I'm right. In the bottom of the 3rd, the Braves had sent all 9 batters to the dish 3 times. They had gone around 3 times. The Cardinals had not yet sent their number 7 hitter to the plate. The Braves were sending 3 times the number of batters to the dish. That's a Cardinals team with Goldie on it. That is a stacked Cardinals lineup. The Braves sent 3 players to the dish for every single player that the Redbirds did. I don't know how to tell you how ridiculous that is, how insane that is. The Braves, y'all, can absolutely mash. I love it. All right, let's get to, I got a couple of sound bites I'm going to run through here real quick, if you don't mind, Lonzo. Let me start with clip number 3. PGA v Live Tour at the Masters. I told you guys coming into this was the most excited I've been for a Masters tournament in a while. And the number one reason was because golf has always been a game of golfers versus the course, right? You could send golfers out there and they never have any idea what the scores of any other players are, and you would get the same result because the majority of golfers know that they're golfing against the course, not the other players, except this year. Rory McIlroy is golfing against every player on the LIV Tour. Why? Because he's been the most outspoken PGA player as far as bleep the LIV Tour. So he's got to back that up. The LIV Tour guys have been out there trying to convince the world that the LIV Tour is every bit as talented and cutthroat as the PGA Tour. Now they've got to go out there and back it up against the PGA Tour guys if they want any chance of increasing their pathetic viewership this season. There are now golfer v. golfer rivalries happening. This clip is Sergio Garcia. Sergio, one of the best golfers on planet Earth, he is a LIV Tour guy. He finished his round yesterday, won over, if I recall correctly off the top of my head, and made his way over to the media tent to do his post-round interviews. And of course, to the shock of absolutely nobody, let's play the Rob Brown Home Show edition. Lonzo, what's the first question that LIV Tour member Sergio Garcia got asked by the media when he went to the tent for his post-round interview?
I'm guessing it has something to do with how he's getting along with the PGA players.
Let's listen to this clip from Sergio Garcia and see if Lonzo's right.
Yeah.
You know my favorite part of that?
Shut up and know your role.
Shut up and write, dorks. My favorite part of that.
So dismissive. It was, I mean, the perfect tone, everything.
I have two parts of that I love. Lonzo, will you do me a favor and just roll the question? Just the question. We don't have to listen to Sergio's answer again. Will you roll just the question that the reporter asked? I didn't hear a damn word about the LIV Tour, did you? I didn't hear LIV v PGA. I didn't hear any of that. All I heard was, how did it feel to be back out here at Augusta and trying to concentrate on your game?
No, it was definitely a LIV question.
You think it was implied?
Yes. How normal does it feel to be back here? I mean,
back here at Augusta.
You
only go there once a year.
That's not what he meant. You know that.
I think you could ask that question to Eldrick, to Rory, to Tony, and it's a fair question to everybody. You go to Augusta one time a year to play golf. That's it. If I go to a place I haven't been at a year, it is fair for somebody to say to me, welcome back. You haven't been here in a year. Welcome back. Right? There was nothing about the LIV Tour there, and Sergio was like,
why'd you pull the clip if you didn't think it had anything to do with it? This is more anti-Sergio and more anti-LIV Tour than it is. Okay.
Here's what I don't like. The LIV Tour, as much as Rory, their guys have been running boat too. So don't run boat for a year and a half, show up at Augusta, and then be like, hey, can you guys stop trying to egg us on? Dude, you egged it on, my guy.
I will say something that we've discussed in the past. You got a chance to ask a question. This is the question you ask. Really?
To one of the most notorious golfers on the LIV Tour?
Really,
Yeah.
this is the question you ask. You try to instigate, try to cause a problem, try to get some heat, so everyone can look at your article or what, you know. I guess you're doing your job, but he shut you down. You might as well go home for the rest of the tour or for the rest of the Masters, because now everybody's going to treat you that way.
So we've gotten 3 texts. Texter said, Rob, I am totally with Sergio. The media is driving this entire narrative. Texter says, it was definitely implied without a doubt. You are lying, Rob. And a texter says, Sergio, Spain's third best golfer. So
who are the first two? I mean, if he's the third Spain's best,
what
it's the fact that you got to look at it. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I would say now. Are you if he's talking all time? John Rahm is better than Sergio, so I'd say he's up there. If you're going all time, Seve was a Spaniard, so Seve Ballesteros is way better.
I'm guessing that they're being,
yeah, but
talking about today.
John Rahm is the only guy on that list better than him today. Anyway, that's not the point. I'm not going down that tangent. Let's stick where we were starting. Okay. No. The media is not driving this narrative.
Protect your own.
I am not. I'm not there. The media, I think there are a lot of people.
It's your boys. There's a fraternity involved in being a member of the reporting media. You probably have some sort of card and secret handshake and a bunch of stuff like that.
You guys have created this narrative of, I don't want to hear about it, therefore it's bad. If I don't like it, it's bad. If it hurts my feelings, it's bad and it shouldn't be reported on or talked about.
All right. So far, as far as the people who are responding to this, the majority heard what I heard.
That's fine. That's fine. But that is what this is. I don't like hearing about it anymore. Therefore, it's bad. Here's the fact. Since the LIV Tour started, the LIV Tour has taken shots at the PGA. And I get it. It is direct competition. The goal of the LIV Tour is what?
So it's like AEW taking shots at the WWE.
Sure. And as an AEW fan, I can absolutely tell you, they do that. And it comes across as petty sometimes. But you are the inferior competition. So you take shots at the more established competition. Why? So that you get talked about.
If they're inferior, aren't guys that on the LIV Tour, aren't they being competitive right now? Are they like on the leaderboard right now?
Itself, as far as fan presentation, engagement, and interaction, is a distant second. That's statistically backed
in
up.
the end, to me, it's golf. So I mean,
that's fine. And I don't say this to be crude. You're not a golf guy.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not.
I am. The LIV Tour is inferior to the PGA Tour, with the exception of some of the top tier competitors are absolutely top golfers in the world.
See, but that doesn't make them inferior. If you're saying the overall product is not as good,
correct.
But it's also, how many years has it been in existence?
2.
Right. So, I mean,
listen, your AEW WWE comparison is spot on. It's exactly correct. Even as a fan, I have to admit it's the inferior product in terms of presentation, production, size, etc. I will argue that there are AEW wrestlers that are amongst the best in the world, better than the majority of the WWE roster top to bottom.
Well, I know we don't need to get into this, but are some of those wrestlers ex-WWE guys?
Sure. Yes. Bryan Danielson. There are some that are not. Kenny Omega.
So in order for the LIV Tour to raise to whatever level the PGA is, no, first you got to bring over some top talent. And then you've got to be in it for the long haul. You've got to be backed by money, which we know they are, who is not impatient.
Yep.
If you have impatience, you're never going to reach that level, but they have patience.
So here's the thing. All that's true. All of that's accurate. I agree with everything you just said.
By my observations is outside looking in, because I have no skin in this game.
I will tell you, as somebody with skin in the game who absolutely cares deeply, everything you just said, spot on, correct, and accurate. I agree with you entirely. However, the LIV Tour guys, and by the way, the PGA Tour guys take shots back at the LIV Tour. That's why I'm so interested in Rory McIlroy in this tournament, who, by the way, is stinking it up right now.
You know what this does, though? It has people talking about golf.
That's my point. Listen to me. Let me say this. That's my damn point. That's the whole friggin' point. Sergio and his boys on the tour have been taking cracks at the PGA. The PGA, Rory and his boys on that tour, have been taking shots at the LIV Tour. So they've been taking shots at each other until when? Till they all got to stare each other down on hole one. And now everybody shuts up and wants to play golf. No. Y'all been talking boat back and forth. Don't get mad at people when you look each other in the face and we go, oh, what up now? Talk to me about now. Sergio, You had this, that, and the other to say when you weren't staring them down. Now you're here. Now you're on the fairways with them. Now you're sharing the clubhouse with them. Now how do you feel about it? I don't want to talk about it. No, you know what you are? You're the dude who runs crack at another dude. And then when that dude comes in the room, you're like, oh, hey, man, it's great to see you. I hope everything's great in your life. How's the wife? No, screw you. You called that dude a loser 10 minutes ago. Now say it to his face. Oh, no, it's the media's fault. No, it ain't. These dudes have been talking crap to each other for a year and a half now. And now that they got to share a clubhouse, now we don't want to talk about it? No, we're too classy for that. Now get out of here with that, Sergio. That's weak.
All right.
You talk smack. Now you got to look the dudes in the face. Friggin' own it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right, let's get past your defense of you guys, of your media, and
it's not even defense of media.
talk about
Sergio's
the fact
just wrong.
Talk about the fact that if PGA was scripted like the NFL, then on the final day of the Masters, you'll have one live guy and one PGA guy tied going into the 18th.
Listen, dream scenario, Rory versus Sergio, playoff at the Masters. Let's go. I would literally skip anything to say, no, I'm sorry I can't come to the birth of my child. Sergio and Rory are in a playoff at Augusta. I'm out. I'm watching that before I do anything else. But what I'm not going to sit here is let Sergio dictate the conversation when the guy's on the LIV Tour. And I will acknowledge to all of you, yes, I got a bias. I am on Team PGA, all right? For no other reason.
And Team Media.
For no other reason than the foundation of the LIV Tour, right? If the LIV Tour was sponsored by Coca-Cola, I'd be 50-50. I'd have a foot in both camps. Give me great competition. Give me the smoke. We are up and we want the smoke. But that ain't what's happening. That ain't what's happening. The LIV Tour fellas bailed for money. That's fine. Got no problem for that. I get it. I said on the show when the LIV Tour started, I can sit here all day, son, and tell you, principle to me, I could not join the LIV Tour. But if they rolled up in here and said, Rob, here's a check for $200 million for you to come be the David Faraday of the LIV Tour, are you in? I'd have a damn hard time telling you right now that I'd say no to that. That is generational changing money, even if you already have $1 million. That's generational wealth. I'd have a real hard time saying no. I'd like to say I'd take half of it and donate half of it back to human rights charities internationally to kind of make up for it. But I'd have a hard time telling you I couldn't scratch the check if they offered it to be the LIV Tour's #1 play-by-play guy. I'd have a hard time saying no. So I get it. I ain't judging these cats. What I will judge you for is you've been talking crap about the PGA Tour guys. They've been talking crap about you. And now that you share a tee box and the media has the audacity to go, hey, remember all those times that you told the PGA Tour guys that they suck? Say it now that they're here. Oh, no, it's the media. It's your fault. You're driving this. Nope. It's like a dude robbing a bank with a gun, leaving, and then going, society made me do this. Yeah, did it though? Did society make you pull the gun and threaten the life of the bank teller? Or did you do that? Because it kind of seems like you did it. Sergio, my guy, I like you. In fact, for the record, I picked Sergio Garcia in one of my betting pools because I think he's got a chance to make a run, and I hope he does. As I just said, I want a LIV Tour v PGA final. Give me Rory versus Sergio on a playoff on 18 at the Masters. That would be the greatest golf spectacle of my lifetime. But don't run crap, and then when that guy's in the building now, you're gonna go talk to his face. Oh no, that's just my friends that are. It's really all the other guys that are driving the narrative. Yeah, but you said he was a wuss. You said you could kick his ass. No. That's everybody else saying that, not me. Dude, you said it. It's the media. It's the media. Knock it off. Own it. Texas says the Live Tour has forced the PGA to change several things. Overall, the Live Tour has been great for competition. They've changed a few things. Sure they have. I'm not disagreeing with you. But there's like 200,000 people at their high audience. It's not going great. Texas said, I freaking hope the Live Tour wins. I would love it. The snobby-ass PGA thinks they are higher than God. Oh, no. Again, down for them to kick that, to get knocked down a peg. I wish there was a more solidly foundational competitive league with the PGA. I do. It's the Live Tour. It's the founders. That's the problem. Texas said, to be fair, I haven't heard anyone except Phil and Greg talking boat. By the way, you'll notice Greg Norman isn't at the Masters. You know why? Because Augusta said, we don't want your drama, Greg, and you ain't playing, so you ain't invited. All right, let's take a break. Come back, wrap up the week of broadcasting, shall we? Hashtag Team Media. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. My phone has been so kind as to inform me, Lonzo, that it's going to start raining in the next 5 minutes.
Wow.
I know.
Now just 1 point over New Jersey after the Devils hammered the Blue Jackets 8-1 last night. Carolina has a game in hand on the Devils. They'll play tomorrow at Buffalo. Like day around baseball on Thursday, the Braves outlasted the Padres 7-6. Orlando Arcia singled in the winning run in the ninth for his third hit. Arcia hit a third-inning homer and also doubled. A.J. Minter pitched his scoreless nine. The series continues today. Lefty Jared Schuster starts for Atlanta, while righty Nick Martinez gets the start for the Padres. The Nationals visit the Rockies tonight. Lefty Mackenzie Gore faces right-hander Jose Urena. Dean Kramer gets the start for the Orioles today. The righty facing the Yankees, who have yet to announce their starters. I'm Peter Schwartz. The Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Taylor Vashani with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Nearly every NFL.com mock draft has the Colts taking a quarterback with the 4th overall pick in the draft. And we may be onto something. The Colts held a private workout for Kentucky quarterback Will Levis Thursday that was attended by nearly all their coaching and scouting staff. Indy previously met with Alabama quarterback Bryce Young and Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. Joey Porter Sr. spent years terrorizing the Ravens as a Steelers Pro Bowl linebacker, and that may be why Baltimore is now interested in his son, Joey Porter Jr. The Ravens met with the Penn State corner and first-round prospect on Thursday. The Patriots draft prep is heating up as well. They met with Boston College receiver Zay Flowers and a pair of University of Georgia top prospects, edge rusher Nolan Smith and offensive lineman Broderick Jones. And the Jets landed a former Packers quarterback. No, not Aaron Rodgers, but they did sign his former Packers. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
It's April, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt
The guy in the Sports Flash said download the Embassy app.
It's a new thing. But yeah, they haven't been told about it yet. Yeah.
Got left out of the circle. Rob the Lard and Media Lover. Thanks, Skrilla. I love you too, buddy. Rob, the Monsters Donuts yelling at Zoe and pounding the desk isn't good for your health. Anger management class? I am the least angry person you know. I think. I'm very rarely angry.
No,
Frustrated
I think you're angry a lot. You just don't let it out.
If you've got hate in your heart, let it out.
Just make sure I'm not in the room when you do it. That's all. Yes, Stephen. That's why suddenly my energy went away. Just because I realized that I got 7 more hours left in my day now. So it was up in the air, but there was still a slight hope that maybe I wouldn't. But I understand why I have to, and it's with a good reason. Doesn't make it any easier. My wife has already offered to bring me food, but I came prepared because I figured this would happen, and I brought extra, so I'm good. No, I'm not good, but I'm going to be here.
By the way, I met at the baseball thing that I did Tuesday night. I met the owner of the Lost Cajun downtown, who told me that he and his wife and their staff are big fans of the show.
Cool.
And that they listen to us in the restaurant when they're setting up during the day.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You might hear me on the Charlie James Show 3 to 7. I was on quite a couple times last night. Yes, I'm good, dude. I'm good. I'm just getting older, and putting in a couple 11-hour days are rough on me. But I'm not out there like some of you guys are doing the things that you're doing. So I'm in a way too cold building sometimes, but you know, I got extra jackets. I'm good.
I can't whistle.
Okay, it's like you made me think there something just happened. Time for Twitter trending topics. It's freaky. All right, the first thing that's trending is Dave Meltzer.
What a week that he and Sean Ross are having, eh? What does that mean? 5? 5 what?
What does he give out? He gives out
did
ratings.
He hand out a 5-star?
He gave out 2 of them.
Really?
Yes.
Who do you give 5 stars
This is
to?
for WrestleMania.
Intercontinental.
Yes, that's
and
one.
Charlotte Rhea. No.
Sammy, Kevin, and
Usos,
Usos.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
hate it.
he doesn't give those out very often.
Here's my
And what an awesome job to work your way up to where you're one of the guys.
That's what I was going to ask is, and I'll be real with you. Like, I didn't really start doing dirt sheet stuff until probably 6-7 years ago. What did Meltzer do that got it to the point that he is the ultimate authority on classifying matches, right? Like, why, if Meltzer says it's 5-star and somebody else says it's 5-star, why is it the Meltzer metric? How did that guy get to the point where most wrestling fans here, Meltzer gave it 5 stars, ergo it was great?
Because if you're one of the first guys and was, you know, with the magazines and all the things, how this sort of thing started, and then you're on the forefront with a lot of internet stuff, and you're out there and you're a name already. I mean, that's what you do. You get in on the beginning of something, and then you become the foremost, especially if you are semi-accurate in a lot of the things you say, and you also build trust with people on the inside and all that kind of stuff.
Is it just because he's been around for 100 years, or?
James says he's only been doing this for 45 years.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
like,
yeah, that helps.
Look, I've been doing this 15 and nobody gives a damn about me. So you're saying if I stick with this for 30 more years, I'll get a little love?
Depends on who you are. I've been doing this for 26 years.
Yeah,
and
they ain't gotten rid of me yet.
I've been doing this for 26 years, and I'm still working 11 hours today. All right, the next thing that's trending is Ahsoka.
So the trailer dropped. Lonzo tried to watch it earlier. Captain America Chris Evans down the hall, and I screwed up his ability to do that. So I'm just going to say, I love Ahsoka the character.
Yeah, you're right, James. Both of us need to step up our game. Correct. We're obviously slackers.
Correct. I thought Ahsoka's character in both Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan, and what was the animated one she had a big role in? It was the Obi-Wan Anakin. Clone Wars. Yeah. I thought she was great as a character in that. So I'm good with a spinoff show, and I stick by the fact that the Star Wars properties on Disney Plus have been infinitely better than the movies. So I'm in.
You know, speaking of that, Rey Skywalker is trending.
No.
Yeah, there's about to be another movie. It's
3 more movies.
Yeah.
From what I just read.
Yeah, and Dave Filoni, I think, might be directing that one. I know he's directing one of them. He's done pretty well with all the other stuff he's done. So,
what's your name? Ray Skywalker. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not your name.
You might as well do your Martha thing because, being adopted into a family. All right. And
why did you say that name?
And the final thing is Indiana
Our
Jones.
moms have the same name. Therefore, we're on the same side because that makes perfect sense.
All right. There's a new Indiana Jones trailer out.
Yo, I'm in. Harrison's back.
He's old.
Stop with the Crystal Skull BS, please. Texter said, you guys are solid C-list celebrities in Greenville. You owe us 30 more years. Sure. Why not? I like it here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the week. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to do this. Have a wonderful weekend. Do not drink and drive. If you beat a Swamp Rabbits game tonight or tomorrow, come up and say hi. I'd love to see you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother.
I may have just made a mistake.
The Masters, and Brooks Koepka is your leader at 10 under through 12. Jason Day is 7 under through 9, and Victor Hovland and John Rahm, 2 of the co-leaders after round 1. They are set to tee off a little bit later on today. Colin Morikawa is 5 under through 6.
Oh, crud.
Marlins and Mets at 1:10 Eastern Time. Yankees Orioles 3:05 Eastern Time. NBA Lakers entertain the Suns tonight. LeBron James and the Lakers looking to finish the regular.
See if you can do this right, Phil.
To play good basketball. Five versus a very good team in the end of the season Sunday. Versus Utah. So we'll see what happens. We see we fall. We'll be ready to go.
Tip-off tonight, 10:30 Eastern Time. Also tonight, the Bucks host the Grizzlies, the Bulls. Visit the Mavericks, the Celtics play host.
Happy Easter, guys.
The Raptors.
Yes, indeed. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you're on Xbox, RL Brown 385, I will be doing a lot of gaming this weekend because I have so much of everything else to do. I need some decompression time. So if you're on the Xbox, RL Brown 385, hit me up. Otherwise, we'll see you back here Monday. You guys are the best. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.